been a little stressful. A little unsure if this is a healthy thing for me to do. One day I'm just gonna say F it and then just start blowing money. All right. Is my background very nice? No. Do I care that much? Also, no. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, don't know who I am, I'm Diana and I make YouTube videos based off of my life, kind of behind the scenes, paying off debt, being a dental hygienist. And today's video, I will be talking about my money, another one, another money diary, another month in the life of my wallet. My last month's video was about my first month living on my own, and now it's near the end of the second month living on my own, and yeah, I'm kind of struggling. I will kind of further explain as I go along in the video, and then I will also just kind of briefly go over how much I've spent this month, my wins and my fails, and kind of like what I feel like I need to keep improving on. So I mentioned in a previous video that I am currently working on trying to get a month ahead. If you don't know, I hate repeating myself, but people are tuning in for the first time. I use You Need a Budget, YNAB for short. It helps me track my money. It's kind of like a virtual online money envelope system. You can go watch all my other videos where I talk all about it. But I am working towards being a month ahead in bills. That means essentially I have 2 months worth of money to cover my expenses. Some people use their emergency fund to fund a month in advance. I don't. I have my own category of my emergency fund, and then I am working also on top of that to cover my expenses for the month ahead. While I could use my emergency fund and that would immediately put me at my goal of putting me a month ahead, my brain is constantly a little worried about money all the time. To be honest, I don't know if it's like a healthy thing that I'm doing with my money right now. Everything that I'm saying could be changed at any point. I could change my mind. My first goal is to at least get my bills category that includes utilities, internet, tenant insurance, rent, medications, cell phone, my car payment, car insurance, my subscriptions, my gym membership, groceries, and transportation. So far, I've kind of got ahead, month ahead or month and a half ahead on my rent at least. In a bit, I will tell you guys why I'm kind of struggling with this aspect of getting a month ahead. Other than the groceries and the transportation, that includes any gas that I'm paying for and any maintenance needed. Everything else is kind of set in stone monthly. The groceries and the transportations are like the only things that really fluctuate month to month. I'm ahead on the utilities, I'm ahead on the internet, I'm ahead on the tenant insurance, and like I said, I'm a month and a half ahead on rent. So if you watched my last video, my last money diary video where I talk about all the little things are starting to add up and needing to buy them to not survive, but you know, you kind of need salt, you kind of need pepper, you kind of need cleaning supplies, you kind of need this, you kind of need that when you first move in. And so I'm just like trying to stock up on everything. So my money has been just kind of like not as consistent, I would say, as I would like. And so I'm having to do a lot of pulling money out of those categories to fund other things. So groceries has blown my budget to shit. Another thing to note that I like to do is I fund my groceries and I have an eating out category that I don't fund at all. If I choose to eat out, I categorize it in the eating out category and then I just transfer funds from my groceries. So the money in my groceries fund gets split between two categories. I haven't added any new categories this month, so there's nothing to say about that. I do think I have reeled in my spending a little bit better than June, but it is really hard when all your ads are being targeted to buying new furniture and all this stuff, and it's a constant daily struggle where I have to stop myself from buying things. But then on one hand, it's also irritating to like be making this money and then I feel what they call it as YNAB poor. I have the money, it's just allocated for other things in the future, and so I don't have a lot of spending room to buy like the little things that I want when I happen to see it. I have to really think hard and good about the purchase, which is frustrating. And when I was living with my parents, it was easy to kind of just like have blinders on and, you know, not even have the room to buy this kind of stuff. So it was easy for me to ignore. And now it's very hard. So just to go over my income versus my expenses. So far I have made $5,795.43. $154.80 is from YouTube. I finally got paid out. That's like about 2.5 months worth of videos. So not much, but it adds up. And then with my high interest savings account, $22.39. Another $10 from another savings account that have cashback rewards. So yeah, that's all included in there. It is lower than normal because I've had to take a day off here and there. And then I also ended up getting sick. I had some weird like eye thing happening. So there's no way I was working. I could like barely open my eye. It was really gross. So making less money this month on top of having to buy things, it's been a little stressful. But I am trying to look on the bright side. I have the money to pay all my bills, fund a little bit ahead, and still have money left over to somewhat enjoy life, do experiences. I'm trying to be a little bit better about it. This is kind of where I'm a little unsure if this is a healthy thing for me to do, which is hitting another 5K goal this year, like in a year. So by July 2025, I want to save another $5,000. And so I'm really strict on funding every month the amount that YNAB tells me I need to fund. But I feel like if I'm making a little less, I need to have a bit of wiggle room there, because I feel like the pressure is kind of building up in me where one day I'm just gonna say F it and then just start blowing money because I am impulsive and my ADHD doesn't help with that. Some wins for this month were I found a coffee table. You're sitting on it right now for really cheap. I got it for $133.28 from Yisk. The only downside is it's a little too small, I think. It's really pretty. I just wish it was bigger, but you know what? I'll just have to do for now until I can find the time and like the right things that I want to do to maybe like DIY it in the future and make it a little bit bigger, or figure out my other furniture solutions. But this will do, donkey. This will do for now. The other win, which, like I said, I'm a little conflicted on, don't know how to feel exactly about it, but I did manage to hit the target for this month. So I am well on my way to saving up the next $5,000 to add to my emergency fund. I do also have this little thought in the back of my head that I'm gonna use part of that money for another big purchase, but it's in my emergency fund category right now just because my brain is weird, and for some reason I just don't want it as a category just yet for that next big purchase. It's just in my emergency fund, so I might use a good chunk of it for something in the future, but as of right now, at least if I have the minimum $5,000, I'll be okay to cover my expenses for at least like 2 months. And then if I need more before I've made that next big purchase, I have that extra money to cover the costs. So some things I'm going to keep working on in the next month will be buying less food, other than like a couple little things, you know, that I might just not borrow, but like get a cup of flour from my mom. Because I don't use flour that often, and it's not worth it for me to buy a big thing. It's going to be expired by the time I even like use up half of it. I might just do things like that, use my resources around me as much as I can to save money on groceries. So I'll give you an update in the next month's money diaries and letting you guys know exactly how that goes. And then I do plan to think about canceling my gym membership and lowering the subscriptions of some of the things. I temporarily purchased some stuff to watch, like Mad Men, so that was like an extra $10 a month. We're almost done the season, so that's gonna get taken off. And yeah, just seeing where I can cut back on little things so that I can add it to like my entertainment, my miscellaneous, my home decor, so I don't feel that like anxiety of, wow, making all this money, but I feel like I actually have no money to use. I'm also gonna call and see if I can lower my phone bills by like 5-10 bucks. I usually do that every couple of months and it seems to work out pretty well for me. And I have a few birthdays and celebrations coming up, and I tend to kind of just throw everything out of my head into the wind, and if I see something that I think the person's gonna like, I'm gonna buy it, even though it's like out of my budget. So I'm being really strict with this now because I'm not gonna have any money for Christmas gifts this coming winter if I keep pulling away from my gift category to cover other expenses or blowing my budget. So yeah, that is my money diaries. The life of my wallet. My poor, poor wallet. Let me know down below what you guys are trying to save up for and how that's working out for you. I find summertime is generally a little bit easier for me to get distracted and not spend as much money, or is it the opposite? We'll see in the fall. Or is just moving into a new place completely throwing me off? And I don't exactly know what time of the year I do better with saving money. I feel like I should technically be a little bit better during the summer. No, actually, it's more like going out and eating at restaurants and sitting on patios and stuff like that. That's like costing me a bit more too. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. See you next time. Bye.